Swadika, good morning and thank you for joining us on Newsline for Tuesday, December 3rd of 2013. I'm Sandra Hanut-Saha. In today's top stories, Foreign Minister Suropong Wijaktaikun has been appointed as the new head of the Center for the Administration of Peace and Order. And in business news, the Commerce Ministry will strictly monitor the prices of goods to prevent unscrupulous traders from hoarding commodity goods. And now on to today's headlines. Prime Minister and Defense Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has expressed willingness to do whatever she can to bring happiness to the Thai people. However, she says there is no law that allows the formation of a People's Council as proposed by Mr. Suthep Thaugsuban. The Provincial Administrative Organization of Parachop Khiri-Khan has already joined hands with the Hua Hin Municipality and the Bureau of the Royal Household in improving the landscape surrounding Glaigangwon Palace ahead of the grand audience to be granted by His Majesty the King on December 5th on the occasion of his 86th birthday anniversary. On his birthday, His Majesty the King is expected to appear at Sala Rajapracha Samakom at Glaigangwon Palace in Parachop Khiri-Khan Province. The Petkasim Road and the road adjoining the palace have been facelifted and decorated with national flags and royal flags to welcome His Majesty as well as well-wishers. A big sign has been put up saying Hua Hin residents love His Majesty the King. Meanwhile, Thai citizens all over the country have decorated their houses and shops with royal emblems and His Majesty the King's pictures. On December 5th, Krabi residents will hold merit-making ceremonies in the morning and a parade to honor His Majesty in the afternoon. In addition to the special occasion, Permanent Secretary of the Prime Minister's Office, Professor Thongthong Jantharangsu, said there will be a rehearsal of the Royal Guards marching today at Glaigangwon Palace. Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra will also take part in the rehearsal as well. And that was news on how the roads close to Glaigangwon Palace in Parachop Khiri-Khan have been fully decorated to welcome His Majesty the King. And now on to the news about the Prime Minister and Defense Minister Yingluck Shinawatra expressing willingness to do whatever she can to bring happiness to the Thai people. However, she says there is no law that allows the formation of a People's Council as proposed by Mr. Suthep Thaugsuban. In a media interview after her talk with Mr. Suthep, the anti-government protest leader, Prime Minister Yingluck insisted that her government would welcome legal experts, all quarters and Thai people to help find solutions for peace for the country. She said she is willing to resign or dissolve the House if it is necessary, adding that the government is also willing to enter talks with the demonstrators if they agree to disperse peacefully. However, Ms. Yingluck said returning the power to the people as demanded by the anti-government protesters does not fall in any laws or stipulations of the current constitution. The Premier's statement came after her discussion with Mr. Suthep in the presence of the leaders of the three armed forces on the night of December 1st. Mr. Suthep immediately spelled out details of the dialogue after meeting with Ms. Yingluck. However, the Prime Minister remained silent until yesterday afternoon. Prime Minister and Defense Minister Yingluck Shinawatra has appointed Foreign Minister Suropong Wijaktaikun as the new head of the Center for the Administration of Peace and Order, or CAPO. In accordance with a decision announced by the Prime Minister at a meeting with CAPO, Mr. Suropong has replaced Deputy Prime Minister Parachap Romnok as chief of the center. Mr. Suropong said the ongoing political protests have damaged Thailand's reputation and overall economy. He elaborated that the government respects people's right to express political opinions, but the rule of law must also be respected by demonstrators. He also urged government workers and state enterprise employees to return to work as normal. CAPO has been in charge of handling the ongoing protests by anti-government groups under the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, led by former Democrat MP Suthep Thaugsuban. The government has called on the protesters to respect the rights of others, saying that the protesters have the right to express themselves as long as their expressions are in line with the law. Government spokesman Tirat Ratanasewi made the statement amid the rising political tension, saying all demonstrations should not violate the rights of other people and should abide by the law and democratic principles, while asserting that the government will as well act in accordance with the internationally accepted principles. Following recent clashes between police officers and the anti-government demonstrators, the spokesman said the reason why tear gas grenades were used against the protesters was because the police had to protect the government house as the protesters attempted to break into the premises. The government house is currently being protected by the Internal Security Act, or ISA, which prevents unauthorized persons from trespassing in restricted areas. Spokesman Tirat also reiterated that the government has the situation under control, while affirming that the government is open for talks and hopes peace will be restored in the country soon. The Center for the Administration of Peace and Order, or CAPO, has made known that 2 prisoner detaining trucks have gone missing. Police expressed their concerns that the vehicles might be used to stir more unrest. One of the trucks was reportedly used to ram police barriers on Sunday as part of the protesters' attempts to seize the government house. So far, 23 police officers have been injured while carrying out their duties at protest sites. Many have been stoned and hit by tear gas cannons. Following attempts to take over government offices, the criminal court is also due to grant arrest warrants for other core anti-government protest leaders on Monday in connection with trespassing on public property and instigating violence. The Immigration Bureau has announced that its office at the government complex has been relocated to Imperial World La Prao for the time being after protesters laid siege to the complex. According to the Immigration Bureau, foreigners looking to apply for a visa or in need of immigration services are requested to go to the Immigration Service Center for 3 national legalized labors located on the 5th floor of Imperial World La Prao on La Prao Road of Bangkok. The relocation of services will remain in effect until normal operations can be resumed at the government complex on Dang Watana Road. For more information, please call 1111 or log on to worldwideweb.1111.go.th. And the northeastern province of Khon Kaen is playing host to the International Silk Festival. The event is aimed at promoting the weaving of silk fabrics and reviving the Puk Seal tradition of the province. Khon Kaen Province, in collaboration with the Department of Sericulture, is organizing the International Silk Festival and the Puk Seal ceremony in front of the Provincial Hall of Khon Kaen. Puk Seal is a ceremony during which 2 people officially declare their friendship. The event is divided into zones covering international silk products and those from Thai provinces, including Roi Et, Kalasin, Mahasarakham, and Khon Kaen. Visitors will have a chance to learn about the history of sericulture, silk weaving, handicrafts, and the unique silk cultures of Vietnam, Laos, China, Myanmar, Cambodia, and Thailand, all of which are taking part in this event. According to Department of Sericulture Director General Anand Suwanarat, the International Silk Festival will help boost local economy and bring extra income to Thai silk farmers. The festival also features seminars which will be focused on improvement of Thai silk and its readiness for the advent of the ASEAN community. The International Silk Festival will be held until December 10th. And that's the end of our first segment for this morning. We'll now take a short break. Coming up next, the process of paying compensation to rubber plantations to ease their problems will be completed by December 30th. Don't go away.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thailand to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. The Commerce Ministry will strictly monitor the prices of goods to prevent unscrupulous traders from hoarding commodity goods or increasing their prices during this time of political conflict in the country. Department of Internal Trade Director General Mr. Somchai Soithong said officials will strictly monitor prices of goods all over the country to prevent vendors from hoarding supply and take advantage of the sluggish economy and political crisis by increasing prices of consumer products, especially fast food. If any violation is found, the Internal Trade Department will take legal action immediately. Reports of 5 to 10 baht increases in freshly cooked dishes have already been filed to the department. Meanwhile, Deputy Prime Minister and Commerce Minister Mr. Niwat Thamrong Bunsong Paisan is strongly determined to hold the Blue Flag event to help shoulder the public's burden, along with setting up business negotiation opportunities between retailers and manufacturers to assure a control in pricing. Blue Flag restaurants will be established in areas of reported price hikes to help ease consumers' living expenses. The process of paying compensation to rubber plantations to ease their problems will be completed by December 30th. Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives, Mr. Chawalit Chukojon, along with his entourage, visited Nakhon Si Thammarat to inspect rubber product bidding and trading procedures. He also attended the meeting of the performance report in Nakhon Si Thammarat, Pathalung, Chumphon, Surat Thani, Songkhla, Narathiwat, and Pattani. According to Mr. Chawalit, he has ordered every province to speed up the compensation payment process to be completed within November 15th. However, only 60 to 70% of the payment has been distributed, while the rest are facing problems related to rubber field inspection and performance, as well as delivering documentations to the Bank of Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, or BAAC, which have led to many provinces failing to meet the deadline. The ministry will assist in the late distribution cases by sending a team of officials to help iron out the existing problems and speed up the payment process to be completed by no later than December 30th. Governor of the Bank of Thailand, or BOT, Parasan Trairat Boragun, stated that this year's GDP forecast would be less than 3%. Mr. Parasan pointed out that the current political turmoil has affected the country's local consumption of goods, potential investments, as well as the tourism sector. The extent of the impacts, he said, would depend upon the development of the situation adding that he would continue to keep a close watch on any changes. Recently, the BOT has lowered its estimation of Thailand's GDP growth for this year to less than 3%, not yet taking into account the effects from the political unrest. The Thai automobile industry expects the output of this year's ecology cars, or eco cars, to reach 300,000. According to Thai automobile industry president Suparat Sirisarawanakul, eco cars have been gaining more and more popularity among consumers, given the sales of more than 136,000 units in the first 9 months of this year, a 39% year-on-year increase. The figures also indicated a 3% stronger than average growth compared to the overall automobile markets. He predicted that the production of eco cars would hit 300,000 by the end of this year, a significant increase of 42,000 cars from the 2012 figure. The government has set the target of the eco cars production, including the second phase period, at 930,000 cars annually by 2018. If that number is realized, Thailand would be able to produce 3 million cars per year, 70% of which would be exported and the rest would be sold domestically. All Southeast Asian stocks rose yesterday, led by Indonesia on a series of positive data, while other markets gained after China's factory data showed steady growth in November and Thailand recouped its early losses. Jakarta's composite index jumped 1.5% to a one-week high, led by financials after optimistic economic data, including a less-than-expected pickup in inflation and a surprise trade surplus in October. Thailand's set index, which tumbled more than 1.1% in the early trade, recovered to end 0.2% firmer after Prime Minister Yingluck Shinawatra said she would open every door to find a peaceful solution to the ongoing political situation. The Philippines' broader index ended 0.2% firmer at a near two-week high, while Singapore's Straits Times index gained 0.4% to its highest close since November 19th. Malaysia's broader index and Vietnam's benchmark VN index closed up 0.3% and 0.2% respectively. And before our next break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices.
ป๊าเมื่อไหร่เราจะได้ข้าวเยอะๆสำหรับเลี้ยงครอบครัวเราล่ะป๊า
ไม่ต้องกังวลแล้วนะครับอันนี้คือข้าวเมล็ดพันธุ์ดีปลอดสารพิษตามพระราชดำริของพระองค์ท่านเพื่อฟื้นฟูนาล้างและเพิ่มศักยภาพของพื้นที่นาเดิมให้ได้ผลผลิตมากขึ้นนะครับ
เข้าใจเข้าถึงพัฒนา My Idol คนต้นแบบจังหวัดชายแดนภาคใต้โครงการประชาสัมพันธ์สนับสนุนการแก้ไขปัญหาในพื้นที่จังหวัดชายแดนภาคใต้กรมประชาสัมพันธ์
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. 87 Thai men in this northern province took part in a mass ordination to honor His Majesty the King on the occasion of his upcoming birthday on December 5th. The provincial governor, Mr. Pongsak Wangsamer, presided over the ceremony that was held at Wat Tet Yod in the heart of Chiang Rai City on Sunday. The province has been holding the mass ordination annually in honor of His Majesty the King on his birthday. This year's ceremony was the 10th of its kind and was also aimed at making merit for the late Supreme Patriarch who passed away 2 months ago at 100 years of age. The much-revered Thai king will turn 86 this December 5th. Many other provinces also held a similar ceremony so as to show their loyalty and respect for His Majesty the King, who has reigned the country since 1946. The lingering cold spell is expected to extend from the north to other regions during the next 2 days. The Meteorological Department reported that a high-pressure cell from China continues to cover Thailand, extending its grip to the northeast, the east, and the central plains. The average temperature in northern and northeastern provinces, including Chiang Rai, Phitsanulok, and Nan, will drop by 2 to 4 degrees Celsius until December 4th. The northwesterly winds prevailing over Thailand's south and the Gulf of Thailand, coupled with a low-pressure cell in Malaysia, will bring heavy rains to many southern provinces. Strong winds will generate up to 4-meter-high waves, and all shipping should proceed with caution. Meanwhile, the Department of Medical Services has urged visitors to the north to take extra precaution while traveling due to plummeting temperatures in the region. Tourists are advised to stay away from common cold sufferers and from crowded places, in addition to frequent hand washing. The Tourism Authority of Thailand, or TAT, reports that 32 countries have issued travel advice to warn their citizens about traveling in Thailand. Despite these travel notices, the TAT says it is confident that this year's tourist arrivals can still hit the target. TAT Deputy Governor Sukri Sithiwanit said Romania was the latest country to advise citizens to be cautious when visiting Thailand due to the ongoing political turmoil. Nevertheless, among the 32 countries, none of them has prohibited travelers from entering Thailand or asked them to reconsider their trips. As for hotel reservations, the deputy governor said it is likely to decline from December 2013 to January 2014, especially reservations made by customers from South Asia, Oceania, ASEAN, and Africa. He revealed the TAT's next move is to restore tourist confidence while promoting other famous tourist sites in the country, such as Chiang Mai, Samui, and Phuket. Mr. Sukri, however, expressed belief that Thailand would be able to achieve the tourist arrivals target set for 2013. And the Department of Marine and Coastal Resources has organized a release of sharks and other sea creatures to the sea on the occasion of His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej's 86th birthday anniversary. Department of Marine and Coastal Resources Director General Nopon Sisuk presided over the release of sharks to the sea. Phuket Governor Maitri Intusut, provincial officials, representatives from the Andaman Coastal Research Institute, students, and the general public attended the ceremony. The ceremony saw the release of 119 bamboo sharks, 199 pairs of harlequin shrimps, 500,000 tiger prawns, and 30,000 barramundis. The release is aimed at improving the marine ecosystem in the area and to raise awareness about environmental conservation to the public. And that is it for today's edition of Newsline. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nvt@gmail.com. This morning we say goodbye with 2 adorable meerkats in Ubon Ratchathani's newly opened mini zoo. Have a wonderful day. I'm Sandra Han Saha. Sawadee ka.